Hello internet people. Today I'm going to give you a bit of a review my ownership of this R9T. I've had it for around about 18 months now, and I've done about 4,500 miles on it, and thought perhaps if you were thinking of getting one, an owner's review might be helpful to you, because it's one of the things that I always look for when I'm thinking about buying something. I always like to go onto the internet and see if there are any videos from people who actually own the thing, rather than just professional testers or reviewers, or even someone who's just, you know, been lent the thing for a day, or taken, in the case of bikes, taken it out on a test drive. You know, you want to hear from someone who's had it for a while and has lived with it and is used to its foibles, and can give more of a sort of balanced opinion, although bearing in mind that people who own things can also be swayed just as easily by emotion as anybody else. But anyway, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about this BMW R9T that I've had. It is a 2018 model, so it's the one with the LED indicators rather than the sort of slightly larger bulb ones, which I think look a lot nicer personally. It's all personal preference though, and I'll put some stills of the bike in the video. Meow. So as you can see, it's the one with the aluminium tank with the weld down the middle, which I think looks absolutely stunning. And I was led to believe that it's quite rare to get these. So I wasn't too keen on the ones with the black and silver tank. And then I saw the Scrambler come out, which had that sort of aluminium tank, or that coloured tank anyway, and I just thought, wow, that looks absolutely gorgeous. And then I saw this R9T for sale down in Manchester, and I thought I must have that. I rode it back from Manchester to, well, on the first night I rode it to Edinburgh and stayed with a friend, because it was absolutely pissing with rain and horrible weather. This was November time of 2019, and I stayed with a friend in Edinburgh, and then I rode it back from Edinburgh to my house in Elgin, which is about a 4-hour drive back to my house. So I think the most it's done in one journey is a couple of 100 miles, and I have to say that personally I felt it very, very comfortable. Now I'm comparing it to the Triumph Explorer, which I took all the way around Europe. Yeah, the Explorer I did a lot of miles on. I took it all the way from Scotland, from the north of Scotland to sort of central Italy, came back via Austria and Germany and France, back through the tunnel. Had an absolute whale of a time on it, but in my opinion this bike is more comfortable. The seating position's more comfortable, because you're quite high up on the Explorer, and it was just too tall. This one is much lower and a much more pleasant and comfier seat in my opinion, and I am quite heavy. So I'm about 120 kilos, so a comfy seat is very important for me. I've got a big fat ass and it likes to be on a nice comfy seat, so I needed a bike that was going to be good for kind of all year round riding, although it does get put to bed right in the heart of the Scottish winter. Once it drops down to sort of hovering around 1 or 2 degrees, I tend to put it away. But I'm used to driving it, or riding it, sorry, in the cold, in the pissing wet, and it has been an absolutely brilliant bike for that. So are there any things that I don't like about the bike? Well, not really. When I got it, I was obviously sold on the looks, and that's you know, you either like the looks of these retro bikes or you don't, and I suspect if you're watching this video you've already decided that you like the looks of it. So let's talk about mechanically. Is there anything I don't like? No, I think the brakes have got plenty of oomph, plenty of stopping power. The engine's got plenty of torque for me. You know, it revs quite low down being a twin, and I like that. Mechanically it's really sound. The chassis is really comfortable. I haven't changed the suspension setup from stock, and I'm quite heavy, and maybe I should have changed it, but it feels comfortable to me. It doesn't feel too wallowy. I've never felt like the spring's about to bottom out or anything like that. It's just a really comfortable bike to ride, just a great bike. The only thing that I didn't really like, and it's the case with most modern bikes, is that huge great diving board at the back of the bike holding out the number plate and indicators, and that was one of the first things that I changed. So going on to that, I've made a few modifications. I've put these Oberon adjustable bar end mirrors on, which afford absolutely amazing visibility behind you, where the stock mirrors, because I'm a very wide guy, with my winter gear on, all I could see at the back was my fucking elbows and upper arms. So that was one thing I changed. I also put a tail tidy on from Evotech, which I bought from Pier City Customs. Great customer service from there. I'll show you some stills of that, and I may even find a lay-by and get off the bike and show you some video. But the tail tidy is a lot nicer than the stock one. I've done 4,500 miles on it. The tyres have still got plenty of life left in them. It's had 2 services, and it hasn't yet had to have any brakes replaced or anything like that. So before I do any more talking about the bike, I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of one of my favourite biking roads. It's very local to me. It's literally only about 5 or 6 miles from my house, maybe a little bit more. And if you find yourself up in the north of Scotland, please do give this road a workout, because it's a lovely road. You don't need to blast along it. In fact, I prefer you didn't, because you'll give us bikers a bad name. But it's the road, the A95 from Craigellachie to Keith, and it's just a lovely twisty road. And I normally don't get all the way to Keith. I normally turn around and come back. That's the River Spey. Look at that, beautiful. Right, so we're turning left here onto the A95. And I'll give you a bit of a view of this road, which is lovely. Anyway, going back more to the bike. So the only thing I've had wrong with it is a broken indicator and a battery, both of which weren't particularly expensive to replace, and the battery was more my fault anyway, as was the indicator. So you really can't blame the bike for that. In all other respects, it's been absolutely perfect. It starts first time every time. It's flawless. It's got a lovely engine. I love how it handles. I mean, it's obviously heavier than a sports bike. Of course it is. It depends what you're used to. I was used to a big adventure touring bike, and before that I hadn't ridden for a very long time. I'd taken a bit of a sabbatical from riding for about 10 years, and then came back to it, and my first bike was the Explorer when I came back, and it was a lovely, lovely bike. Just after a couple of years I thought, maybe I'm not doing all of the smashing adventures that I was going to. I toured around Europe on it, which was lovely, and but you know, I was planning to do all this fucking off-road stuff and whatnot, which of course I didn't do. And I thought, let's get myself a more practical bike for day-to-day use. and just enjoy the bike rather than, you know, trying to fucking do a Charlie and you and go all over the world. This is quite a tight corner. That's the third gear corner at about 30 miles an hour, and there's plenty of grunt out of the corner, and it sounds great in my opinion, in my humble champignon. It's just, there's plenty of speed for me. Now, if you're used to, you know, fast sports bike 600s or bigger, then you probably would find this a bit pedestrian for you. But for me, it is not pedestrian at all. It's lovely, and because there's no fucking traction control, and is there ABS? I can't remember if there's ABS. I'll put it on the screen. But there's definitely no traction control or rider aids or anything like that. I'm going to slow down a bit so that this car doesn't hold me up through the twisties. Lovely twisty, twisty roads. Lovely, lovely twisty roads. And then it gets a bit tighter twisties. I love it. I'll obviously edit some of this out so you don't have to listen to me fucking prattling on like a twat for the whole time. So in summary, I guess what I'm saying is that I really have nothing negative to say about this bike at all, and if you were thinking of getting one, I really do recommend that you should. I can't imagine a bike that would give me as much pleasure to ride while still being so practical and you know, and great for everyday stuff, and that's really what I need. And to me this just feels much more like what the essence of riding is all about. Yeah, there's no fucking about, there's no rider aids, there's no complicated dashboard. You know, it does what it does, and it does it well. It takes corners like this really nicely. You know, you can just have fun on it. I'm not sure if you were going to take pillions, I'm not sure how comfortable that would be, but you know, especially if you were going to tour on it, it's quite a small seat, so I'm not sure the pillion would enjoy it quite as much as you do. But yeah, if you're thinking of buying one, go and buy it. I'll shut up now and enjoy these corners. 6th gear, not having to slow down too much from 60 for any of the corners, if at all. That smelt nice. Almost smelt like toffee apples. I wish you could have smelt that. And this is where I think, you know, this bike really excels, is just the sort of A roads and B roads, pootling around 60 to 70 miles an hour. It's got plenty of torque. I've probably already said that, but it's got plenty of torque to get you where you need to go, even in 6th gear. In fact, On the way back, I'm going to stay in 6th gear pretty much as I can. I absolutely love my bike to bits. So here we are, 6th gear. Oh, hello mate, got enough road. 6th gear. Like I say, still plenty of grunt. Lovely, lovely road. And the good thing about it is, as well, is because it's a big twin, there's quite a lot of engine braking, so you find that you don't actually have to get on the brakes that much. If you've got any questions about the bike, I do love to answer questions, so if you've got anything specific you'd like to know, I promise I'll get back to you. Just drop a comment in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. I'm on YouTube most days, if I'm honest, so you'll probably get a reply within a day. So thanks for watching. I hope you found it informative. I've tried to say the things that I think other people would be interested in, because it's the sort of thing I would like to hear myself. Oh, that sound. But like I say, please feel free to ask me anything and I'll get back to you. Thanks very much. I'm Neil. I'll speak to you all soon. Toodles!